Hello students, today we are going to start a new chapter, that is your chapter 15, plant growth. As you know, in this session a wide fraction of your syllabus has been deducted. So chapter 15 also involves a number of topics that are related from this chapter, and in this chapter now you only have to do the growth and growth regulators in the plants. Means you just have to study the physiological roles of the plant hormones, that are 5 basic hormones. So in this chapter you just have to study the physiological role of these 5 hormones, and now we are starting our chapter with these plant hormones. First of all, as you are studying the physiological role of the plant hormones in growth, so first of all you must know about that what is growth. Growth is an irreversible process which is permanent. Means the growth, once growth occur, then it can't be reversed to its original position. So growth, it's a irreversible process, and it is also a permanent change that generally result in increase the size, weight of a particular organ or a particular part of any individual in which growth is taking place. And it may be an individual cell, because when an individual cell grows, the parts of a particular individual cell grows, then the cell, the tissue grow, and after growth of the tissue, ultimately the organ of any particular individual, they grow. So in this chapter we just study about the physiological roles of the growth regulators in the plants. Okay, growth regulators means which regulate the growth. So the plants, they lack any particular control and coordination mechanism. There is no control and coordination organs or a well defined mechanism in particular plants. So they just secrete the hormones which are performing their whole this function. So growth control is also comes under the control and coordination. So in this, the detailed mechanism of control and coordination is not studied, but how the growth hormones or the growth factors or the growth regulators, they impact the growth, what are their physiological role on the growth of a particular plant or growth of a particular plant cell. So in this chapter we just have to study about the physiological role of these growth hormones or growth regulators. So plants secrete some factors which are which may be proteinaceous, which may be steroids in nature, and these are popularly known as plant growth regulators or plant growth hormones. The plant growth regulators and abbreviated as PGRs. So there are on 5 PGRs, that is auxin, cytokinin, gibberellins, abscisic acid and ethylene. The growth regulators, they promote as well as they demote the growth. Means they as they initiate or induce the growth, so they also have a property to retard or inhibit the growth. Out of 5, 3 plant hormones or 3 plant growth regulators are growth promoting, that is auxin, cytokinin and gibberellin. Application of these hormones or these steroids or these chemicals or these regulators promote or induce the growth in particular plant, but abscisic acid and ethylene, they are growth retarding or growth inhibiting hormone. So let's start with the function of auxin. Auxin is a growth promoting hormone. Auxin is having a peculiar property, that is it is synthesized in shoot. Means auxin is always synthesized in shoot, but it act on root. Means it is responsible for or essential for rooting in a particular plant. So auxin is also termed as rooting hormone. The auxin, it is always synthesized at the tips of a particular plant part. Means the tips of each and every plant part, they are consisting of auxin in a considerable amount because auxin is synthesized in the shoot tips. Okay, it may be a shoot tip, it may be a bud that is responsible for the apical dominance, it may be any leaf shoot, it may be any leaf bud on the tip of which the auxin is present abundantly. So it is always synthesized in the shoot. What functions or what is the role of auxin in a particular plant? Auxin, it control the cell division and cell differentiation. It induce the cell division and it also induce the cell differentiation in xylem. So, in dicots the role of auxin is very important because xylem differentiation is necessary in dicots, because in dicots the xylem head differentiate and after differentiation it becomes meristematic, and the xylem cells or the vascular cells they divide and form the secondary xylem and tertiary xylem, and the growth in the dicots it continues after year and year. Okay, so here the role of auxin it come in action. After it the auxin it can also promote the flowering. Okay, for example, in pineapple application of auxin it induce the flowering in and finally fruit formation. Means to increase the pineapple harvesting, we can apply the auxin to that particular pineapple plant, which may induce the flowering and finally the flower it terminate into a fruit. Okay, auxin it is also responsible for the apical dominance. Then what is apical dominance? In 10th class you have studied about the phototropism, in which the plant it bend toward the light part. Suppose if it is a plant shoot and auxin is present in it, and this is a light source and light is coming to a particular direction, then the shoot it will bend in the direction of light. It is because of auxin, because auxin it always runs away from the light, means the direction from which light is coming, auxin is shifted to opposite direction of that particular direction of light, and that's why auxin is also termed as rooting hormone. Okay, because it is synthesized in shoot but it is present in root. So when it is placed to the opposite direction of the light, then it will cause the increase, it will cause a cell elongation, cell differentiation in this particular part where auxin is present, and it result in the dominance of this particular part of the shoot, and it is also termed as apical dominance. And this apical dominance it result in the bending of shoot towards light, because auxin it is shifted opposite to the opposite direction of the light, and shifting of auxin result in increase that particular shoot tip, and the increased portion of that shoot is not accommodated by this particular part of that particular shoot part, and that's why the shoot it bends towards the direction of the light. Not only shoot, the root it also bend towards the light. Okay. Application of induce also of auxin can also induce parthenocarpy. Then what is parthenocarpy? Carpel related to ovary, parthenofoles यानी कि false fruit. The fruit formation without fertilization, means fruit formation it involves a mechanism, that is a basic mechanism of sexual reproduction, that is fertilization. But if the fruit it is formed without fertilization, then it is termed as parthenocarpy or parthenogenesis. So there is no need to fertilize that particular flower. If we apply auxin, then it can induce the parthenocarpy, especially in the case of tomato. There are some examples of auxin which are synthesized in plants or can be isolated from plants naturally, that is IAA indole acetic acid, IBA indole butyric acid. The first isolated is IAA indole 3-acetic acid is also named as IAA. Naphthalene acetic acid and 2,4-dichlorophenoxybenzoacetic acid. Okay, the 2,4 it is also termed as 2,4-D. The 2,4-D it is also used as weedicide against dicots. Means in monocot crops, application of 2,4-D will result in automatically removal of dicot weeds. So in monocot crops, the application of 2,4-D it will have a positive effect on the crop but have negative effect on the dicot plant that are growing as a weed in that particular field. So application of 2,4-D or 2,4-dichlorophenoxybenzoacetic acid will result in the removal of these particular dicot weeds. Now come with the action of gibberellin. Gibberellin is also growth promoting hormone. So what is the function of gibberellin? Gibberellin, it generally causes elongation in the cell. Okay, the elongated part of every particular plant is due to action of gibberellin. It generally causes elongation in internodes. What is internode? Because in the plant shoot there are sites where leaves originated, and that particular part is termed as node, and the space between two nodes is a internode. If these two are node, then this part is known as internode, and the internode, it is responsible for the length of any particular plant. So application of gibberellin come in action in the crop of sugarcane, in which application of gibberellin increase this internodal part between two nodes, and it will result in increase in the length of sugarcane plant, and that is that will result in the maximum yield of that particular sugarcane crop. And it can also be used in the some crops like cabbage, beets, in which it increase the internodal length, and the leaves, they are arranged on a particular manner, that is rosette pattern. For example, in cabbage, in this the internodal part is elongated, but and due to elongation of internodal part, the leaves, they are they origin at a particular node, and all the nodes are collectively present at a particular region. So all the leaves origin at that particular node, and they are also arranged in a particular manner, that is rosette manner, and that is responsible for the formation of cabbage. The gibberellins, it can breaks the dormancy in flowering. Means if the flower is dormant for flowering, then the application of gibberellin can induce the flowering in that particular plant, and hence seed production. Means after flower formation, the fertilization take place, and after fertilization, ovules in the ovary are converted into seed. If a plant after proper growth is not showing flowering, then we can apply gibberellin to that particular plant, which will break dormancy, induce flowering, and finally seeds are produced from that particular floral ovules. Okay, so it can promote seed production in a particular plant. Gibberellin, they are generally named as GA1, GA2, GA3, and so on. How much of gibberellin are named as GA1, GA2, GA3, etc. Now comes the action of cytokinin. Cytokinin, cyto cell, kinin kinasis, division, means cytokinesis. It is most important growth factor for cellular division. It induces cellular division, and cellular division, they are responsible for the growth of any particular multicellular organism. If the cells of a particular multicellular organism, they don't divide, then the growth of that particular organism can't take place. So for the growth of a multicellular organism, cellular division is the most important phenomenon, and cytokinesis promote this cytokinesis or cytokinesis or cellular division. So it is also a growth promoting hormone. It breaks apical dormancy. Apical dormancy means if the apex, tip of a particular plant is dormant. Dormant means its cells are not dividing, then the application of cytokinin breaks that apical dormancy and start division in that particular part, which will result in the increase in growth or increase in length or increase in height of that particular plant. Okay. Cytokinin, it is synthesized in root, and it is acting at the shoot. So for the better development of shoot, cytokinin is necessary. It promotes branching in shoot and formation of lateral buds. Lateral buds, they result in branching, and they also result in the flowering, etc. Characters of a particular shoot. So for best growth of a shoot, cytokinin is necessary. It causes lateral bud growth, and the lateral buds, they result in the branching. So it finally promote branching, and also the chlorophyll formation in leaves. The chlorophyll formation, it is also induced by cytokinin, and the adventitious shoot means the secondary shoots, they are also synthesized under the action of cytokinin. The naturally obtained cytokinin is zeatin. However, kinetin, it is obtained first from the human urine. Next is abscisic acid. It is growth retarding hormone. On the basis of its name, abscisic acid, it forms a layer of its deposition. Suppose this is particular plant and the leaf of this particular plant, the leaf is damaged or it has completed its lifespan, then the abscisic acid, it get deposited and that particular part. Means that is abscisic acid deposition. The abscisic acid, it forms a abscission layer, and this abscission layer, it make impermeable the cells. Means the any of the material is not transported to the leaf now. With time, as the abscission layer grows on, the leaves, it is devoid of nutrient, and ultimately the leaf, it will shed off from the part. The death of any particular plant part occurs due to abscission layer. Shedding of the fruits, shedding of the leaves, or any particular immature plant part of any particular plant is due to formation of abscission layer, and this abscission layer due to result in the detachment of that particular plant part, which may be damaged, which may be dead, or it may have completed its lifespan, which have to be removed from plant part. Or also it may contain any waste material, that is secondary metabolite for plant, and plant is not using that particular metabolite. So it is necessary to shed that particular metabolite from plant, and that's why it choose its own parts for its removal, and it may be a leaf, it may be a fruit, and that's why after ripening the fruits, they are shedded or detached from the plant due to formation of abscission layer. The abscisic acid, it inhibits seed germination. Means when a crop is ripened properly, then abscisic acid, it comes in action and it make the seeds dormant to germination. Means the seed, they don't germinate until and unless they receive the appropriate climatic conditions for their germination, and that's why we are capable of storing the grains due to activity of the abscisic acid and ultimately dormancy caused by this abscisic acid. If there is no abscisic acid, we will not be able to store the grains or the food ultimately. Abscisic acid is also termed as stress hormone because it increases the tolerance of the plants to any particular stress, which may be a change in pH, which may be change in temperature, and the dormancy, that it is collection of that particular adaptations which make tolerant the plant or the ultimately the seeds to this environmental or climatic stress, and that's why it is also termed as stress hormone. Abscisic acid, they are generally written as ABA and ABA1, ABA2, ABA3, etc., etc. They are named on the behalf of their discovery number. Now comes with the fifth and the last plant growth regulator, that is ethylene. Ethylene is generally a gas, so it is occur in gaseous form. The ethylene, it is also named as fruiting hormone. The spray of ethylene in any particular plant induce the fruiting in that particular plant, and also ethylene is responsible for the ripening of the fruit. So the unripe fruits, if they are detached from the plant, then they are sprayed with ethylene or treated with ethylene, so that in those particular fruits ripening process can take place and they can be eatable. So ethylene is commonly known as fruiting hormone. It also breaks seed and bud dormancy, means it is also helpful in the seed germination, especially in the pineapples, and it is also help in breaking the bud dormancy in potato tubers, so that the potato tubers, they can germinate into potato plant. it also cause the female development of especially female flowers in cucurbits. Cucurbits means cucumber family. If we want more yield from that particular cucumber family, then we can apply ethylene on that particular plants, which result in the formation of maximum female flowers, and more the number of female flowers, more will be the fruits, and ultimately more will be the yield of that particular plant. So, application ethylene can promote or can induce the female flower formation in cucurbit family. Ethylene, it is the most widely used plant growth regulator in agriculture, because it is responsible for fruiting, it is responsible for fruit ripening, it is responsible for the development of female flowers, it is responsible for the breaking of seed dormancy, and also responsible for the bud dormancy. And even in the rice plant, whose roots are constantly dipped in water, then in that particular rice plant, it causes elongation of petiole. Petiole means the part through which the leaves are attached to the shoot. So, elongation of petiole causes the leaves to stay up above the water level and to absorb the atmospheric air and or other nutrients properly. Okay, it also causes root growth and formation of root hairs in roots. So, it is also responsible for maximum absorption by a plant by increasing the root hair formation. Okay. In artificial form, the ethylene, it is widely used in the form of ethofone. Ethofone is sprayed in the plant by dissolving it into water as a solvent, and after spraying the ethofone, it releases ethylene at a very slow rate, but at a constant rate. Okay. So, regular ethylene exposure to that particular plant causes the proper fruit ripening, fruit formation, and all the other physiological roles that are controlled by ethylene. Moreover, the plant factors or plant characters, they are not controlled by any single particular plant growth regulator. Means the combination of all these plant growth regulators is required in a fixed proportion, required in a particular amount, so that all the physiological phenomenon, that is the dormancy, abscission, senescence means aging of that particular plant, apical dominance, all these characters can be controlled by these plant growth regulators. While in some there are some characters also, for example, photoperiodism means the response of a particular plant to light duration, vernalization, the response of a plant, flowering in plant according to the colder climates. Okay. These phenomena are regulated by environmental factor 2 along with these PGRs. Okay. So, PGRs, they have an important role in plants, but not a single PGR is enough for any particular plant. A combination or the action of all these plants as a single unit, all these PGRs as a single unit is necessary for the better growth of the plant. Okay, here with this I am completing the chapter. Okay, if you have any doubt, any query regarding the chapter, then you can contact me without any hesitation. But read the chapter carefully and read only the according to the revised